Did you know? Kitchen Nightmares first started in 2004 on Britain's Channel 4 TV station, where it was known as Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. However, the show's roots go back even further. It was actually a remake of an earlier 6-part miniseries titled If You Can't Stand the Heat that aired in 1999. Created by Optimum Television, the show featured Michelin star-winning chef turned consultant Pat McDonald as he visited failing restaurants and gave them advice in hopes of turning their luck around. The show was a flop and was quietly forgotten until one of Optimum's producers, Pat Llewellyn, decided to give the idea another shot. While the concept was updated for the second attempt, the biggest change was McDonald being replaced by Ramsay. Ramsay was a rising star in the restaurant scene and had previously starred in his own successful miniseries called Boiling Point. Ramsay's new show underwent a series of name changes during development, including Ramsay's Restaurant Rescue and Cutting the Mustard. It wasn't until filming at the very first restaurant that the show found its title. Ramsay recalled, "I came out of the very first restaurant we visited. This is a f***ing nightmare," I said to Pat Llewellyn, no doubt with genuine terror in my eyes. "That's it," she said. "We'll call the show Kitchen Nightmares." The name stuck, and the show went on to be a runaway hit. In spite of this, Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares proved to be a difficult show to produce. Though the show is usually just 45 to 50 minutes long, the crew would record 70 to 80 hours of footage for each episode. Filming proved to be so stressful that Ramsay and company would barely sleep during their stay at each restaurant, which could last up to 10 days. While the studio was concerned about Ramsay's profuse cursing during production, his wild outbursts at incompetent cooks became one of the show's most popular aspects. It's also been said that the American version of this show intentionally played this up. According to a production assistant during a Reddit AMA, you never see him get mad off camera, but that's because he doesn't have a reason to. He only gets mad when he has a reason to. Otherwise, he's a very funny and nice dude. You can even see that in all of his UK shows. The US versions like to selectively edit to play up drama. TV critics also noticed the difference between the US version of Kitchen Nightmares. In the Los Angeles Times, reviewer Robert Lloyd commented, "Whereas the British Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares is fundamentally a food show, the Fox edition emphasizes mishap, argument, and emotional breakdown almost to the exclusion of cuisine." Reviewer Maureen Ryan said, "Leave it to Fox to take something the Brits did pretty well and muck it up. This edition of the show appears to be more interested in playing up the family dramas at the restaurants Ramsay visits." Ramsay's mentioned that the episodes where the restaurateurs were talented but just needed a push in the right direction were his favorites. He even urged his friends, family, and the production crew to support each restaurant they visited well after they wrap up filming. The Daily Mail found that 47 of the 77 restaurants featured on the show had closed up by 2014, half of which were shuttered less than a year after their episode aired. Other businesses, such as Sushi Co., closed before their episode even hit TV screens. Meanwhile, the restaurant Lela's was forced to close before filming was completed. More restaurants have shut down since, and only 15 remain in business as of 2018. John Chapman, once owner of Chappie's in Nashville, Tennessee, went a step further. Chapman claimed that Ramsay ruined his restaurant after the chef completely replaced his Cajun-inspired menus with more standard cheeseburger and fried chicken fare. Chapman lamented, "My customers hated it. People would get up and walk out as soon as they saw it. They loved the gumbos and fish, shrimp, and oysters. They weren't coming in for hamburgers, that's for sure." After his customers revolted, Chapman attempted to bring the old menu back, but the restaurant closed a month after its episode aired. Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares and its American counterpart have often been accused of being faked, a claim which Ramsay has vehemently denied. "People think stuff is set up. No way. The production staff doesn't even give me any background before I get there, so my reactions are all completely genuine. I never meet the restaurateurs in advance, nor do I get to read their menus. If I did, half the time I probably wouldn't bother showing up." Ramsay's even gone to court defending the show's legitimacy. London-based newspaper The Evening Standard published an article accusing Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares of planting a phony chef at a restaurant and fabricating culinary disasters. The case ultimately reached the High Court, where The Evening Standard was ordered to apologize and pay €75,000 in libel damages, as well as roughly €25,000 in legal fees for the piece. Following the ruling, Ramsay stated, "I won't let people write anything they want about me. Even I have limits, and on this occasion, the line was crossed." Meanwhile, Buddy and Brian Mazzio, former owners of Finn McCool's, claimed the chef who dropped a piece of chicken on the floor before putting it into the fryer wasn't actually one of their employees and was instead hired by the producers to serve at the restaurant during filming. Martin Hyde, the former general manager of Dylan's Lounge, was furious with his portrayal in the show, so much so that he attempted to place an injunction on the episode to stop it from being aired. When the injunction failed, Hyde sued Kitchen Nightmares' production company for 500,000 euros, close to $1 million at the time. The suit was for deceitful editing practices that allegedly misrepresented Hyde to set him up as a fall guy for the show. For example, Hyde claims he was told by the crew to lie down to rest, only to be unwittingly filmed and portrayed as sleeping on the job in the final episode. Hyde told the Daily Mail, "Being ridiculed by Gordon Ramsay on TV has wrecked my life. Gordon completely assassinated my character. My reputation is in tatters and nobody wants to employ me. I'd love people to be able to see the unedited footage. Gordon called me a fake, but the whole show was a fake." Nevertheless, the lawsuit was ultimately thrown out of court. This wasn't the only time Kitchen Nightmares was sued either. The Oceana Grill's appearance on the show in 2011 came back to haunt them when clips of their episode were posted on Kitchen Nightmares' official Facebook page 7 years later. The videos gathered 2.7 million views, leading to the restaurant's parent company to file suit against Ramsay and Kitchen Nightmares' production company. Attorney Daniel Davalier stated, "The problem we have is the fact that it's so misleading. People think it's something current, when in fact it's very old. Unlike many of its peers that have closed since being featured on the show, the Oceana Grill still stands today and touts TripAdvisor's 2018 Traveler's Choice Award with over 12,000 reviews and a 4.5-star average rating." Some of the restaurant owners who have appeared on the show have called Kitchen Nightmares' drama into question. For instance, Leslie Bozzini, once co-owner of Bozzini's, found her relationship with her husband under fire by the show's producers, who asked her questions like, "If this fails now, how can you stay with your husband?" Bozzini told the New Jersey Record, "I thought they would come in and expose our real flaws and help us with that. I didn't think they were going to be manufactured flaws. Although allegations against the show generally targeted Ramsay, it seems the man has little to do with what goes on during the crew's stay." Bozzini also said they barely saw Ramsay, explaining, "You have no interaction with Ramsay at all. He comes with a very big machine of assistants and helpers. The only time that I ever spent any time with him was on camera." Despite the accusations, some events in the show are entirely true. For example, the infamous episode of Kitchen Nightmares at Amy's Baking Company, which holds the dubious honor of being the first time Ramsay ever walked out on a restaurant, was real. Food blogger Greg Taylor, who dined at the restaurant during filming, wrote, "We did witness the couple sending back a salad, which made the owner insane. This behavior that you see or will see on the show is 100% true to form and not doctored for TV." In 2009, there was a one-off special of Kitchen Nightmares UK called Great British Nightmare. This two-part special sparked controversy due to its excessive use of foul language and a 2-minute period where Ramsay said the F word 30 times in under 2 minutes. This led to Ofcom, the UK's government-approved media regulator, getting involved. The regulator took issue with both the frequency of the show's swearing and the time it was aired. Great British Nightmare aired at 9 p.m., which is normal for one of Ramsay's shows. This meant that although Ramsay's audience expected the occasional heated exchange at 9 p.m., they weren't used to almost back-to-back cursing. Ofcom issued a statement that included, "It was clear that the frequency and nature of the most offensive language in the earlier parts of this program, and at the time it was broadcast, deviated seriously and significantly from previous editions." They added that they'd never ruled against one of Gordon's shows for breaching foul language broadcasting code in the past, but Great British Nightmare breached Ofcom's stipulation that offensive content must be justified by context. In hindsight, Ramsay seemed to agree. About a year later, UK outlet The Guardian asked Ramsay about the excessive cursing. Ramsay told them, "When you saw those two Kitchen Nightmares condensed into one, last year when they had all those fucks, I wasn't proud of that. There's come a time at the age of 43 I'm getting a bit tired of the foul-mouthed bully chef." After 7 successful seasons, the US Kitchen Nightmares came to an end in 2014, but the show wasn't canceled. In fact, Kitchen Nightmares brought in an average of 2.68 million viewers per episode in its final season. Instead, it was Ramsay himself who decided to end the show. In an interview with the New York Daily News, Ramsay admitted he was tired of getting flack for the number of stores that closed after appearing on his show, especially since many of the closings were due to businesses going back to their old habits after he left. Ramsay stated, "I got fed up with Kitchen Nightmares because I was getting shit, so I woke up one morning and I thought, f*** it, I'm done." Although Ramsay has starred in more shows since then, fans continue to beg for more Kitchen Nightmares. Did you also know that Gordon Ramsay once staged a crime to save his career? Or that KFC designed computer systems to mix its trademark blend of spices to avoid workers leaking the recipe? For more facts, check out our videos on Gordon Ramsay and KFC.